welcome to the Author to Authority podcast. And today I have my wonderful co-host, Juanita Wootton-Radko. And the beginning of September, we're actually going to be celebrating an anniversary of friendship together. So you're going to want to listen beginning of September, because we're going to be doing a really special episode then about the power of friendship and how it can not only change your life, but change your business as well. So welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you, Kim. Glad to be here. It's nice to have a slightly cooler day than the last time we were recording. I don't think I could have gotten much shinier. It was hot.
And, you know, when you're doing these podcasts, you know, you've got the window that's bringing in extra light. That also brings in extra heat. To get my room with enough lights, I've got lights on both sides of me shining. So on really hot days, sometimes by the time I'm done, I'm like, can you see the sweat drops? Like,
We'll take care of that in post-production, right?
Yes.
We'll take care of that in post.
So today we're continuing our Author to Authority podcast series. And we've really been digging deep and just exploring the 6 key areas that you need to build in to become that authority in your niche, to have people see you. And when they do, when they meet you, when they find you on social media, when they hear you on podcasts, that you become this instant credible expert that they want to work with. And we've already talked about your in-person skills. We did 2 episodes on that. You know, how do you introduce yourself effectively? How do you let people see you right from the very start as that credible expert the first time they meet you? You know, we talked about building that network, but I think we're going to do one more on that because I've had some more thoughts come in. So maybe the next one we'll do the network again. And we focused in on communication, you know, and the importance of having a combined communication message. So where your speaking is as strong as your writing. And how most people are stronger in one than the other. But if you want to be seen as that incredible authority, there has to be continuity between the two. Because if you speak really well and then you write someone an email and it's atrocious.
Yeah, it's like, which one's the mask?
Yeah, which one's real? Which one's, you know, which one's the real person? And generally, people will assume that your weakest area is the true you. Sad.
Yeah.
But it does happen. But today, I want to focus in on marketing. And I know you've heard that term, marketing, branding, all this kind of stuff. But we have not a completely unique way of looking at it. But we do look at it in a way that's applicable to you as an entrepreneur where you are at right now. So, you know, when we talk about marketing today, we're not really going to be talking a lot about, you know, your website, your colors, all that we might get into a little bit because, you know, Juanita, if you want to move over a little bit, she's got this on the video in the background. She's got this word juicy on her wall there, and it's in this incredible font. And we were talking about the fact that she did it because she just loved the font. And so there is some importance to, you know, having you know, your branding elements in place. So, you know, knowing your colors, your fonts, you know, how you want to visually present yourself. But if you can't answer 3 questions that we're going to talk about today, none of that other stuff matters. So, Juanita, do you have any opening thoughts for us today?
I feel there's so many different elements to marketing and thinking about how it reflects on you personally. I'm really excited to discuss that with you, Kim. I think that I'll start off by saying it has to come from a natural place.
True.
authentic place, because if you're thinking that my marketing has to look like this person, has to look like, I want to model my marketing after Oprah, let's say, and I want to do everything the way Oprah does stuff. Well, I'd be really impressed, A, if you had that budget, but B, all you're ever going to be is a
Oprah
best,
wannabe?
a sad wannabe. All right, I won't say sad, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You're only ever going to be a second-rate version of that person. So cherry pick elements that you want to emulate, to incorporate into your marketing, your personal brand, but make it you.
Yeah. So, what is marketing? And I was thinking about this as I was creating notes for my wonderful friend here to review before the show. And what came to me is marketing is how you present yourself to the world. And it's important because when people see you, they judge you. And you say, oh, well, I don't judge people. Yeah, you do. We all do. It's a part of human nature to instantly make a decision on someone based on what you first see.
Let's say assess.
Assess. I like
rather
that.
than
Assess.
judge.
Okay, assess. So when you are an entrepreneur, you want to make sure that the first impressions that people have of you are strong. And that's where your marketing comes in. When you are intentional about your marketing, when you are you have decided how you want people to see you, and then you create the materials needed to give that impression, then what happens is that you will see results. And like you said, it comes down to a place of authenticity. It is okay to be you. You don't have to be anybody else. You are wonderfully gifted just the way you are. You have skills, talents, and abilities that make a difference in this world. And you have something inside of you that was made to, minister's the wrong word, but was made to have an effect on a specific person's life. And so that's why your marketing is important, because when your marketing is strong, then you attract the right people, that right target market that you really want to work with.
Yeah, maybe, again, it's going to sound like spiritual language, like religious language to say blessed, but when you're giving of yourself and sharing that part of yourself, sharing and knowing it's nourishing someone else's life. When I think about marketing, I think about how it incorporates language, how it incorporates appearance and thought.
Yes.
I really was thinking just from the very simple level of appearance, the outer level, I'm comfortable with my shape. I'm comfortable with how I look. I'm not trying to fit into someone else's perceived notion of I have to be like a size 4 to be attractive, to look good. Your appearance I mean, this sounds so basic. Be clean, be neat, and comfortable.
Mhm.
I think comfortable does not mean sloppy, but I see sometimes people dress up in, sometimes you see guys, they'll have a, a jacket, a blazer, but it's oversized. It's too big for them because they want to kind of hide inside it. And they're not comfortable in that. You might need help with someone to give you some advice on.
Yeah, you want clothes that fit you well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That feel almost like a second skin.
Yes. The some of my favorite dressier clothes feel like pajamas.
Yeah.
I have a very free-flowing kind of approach to my wardrobe, and the closer they can feel to pajamas, the better. I'm not saying I go to work in my pajamas. I'm just saying I like a loose fit.
Well, okay, let's be truthful here. In this new COVID Zoom environment, you could be dressed from the waist up and still have your pajama bottoms on.
I feel like I'm going to have to stand up and prove to you later that, ta-da, this is a dress, not a makeup fit. Anyway.
But I want to just go back for a second and talking about being you and not being someone else. Now, Juanita and I are biracial, and I'm actually about 2 or 3 different races. So I never really looked like the average kid. I was not, had this nice straight blonde or brunette hair. My skin was darker, though I was darker than, say, a white person. Hopefully that's politically correct. But I wasn't as dark as a black person either. So again, if I'm not using the correct political terms, please excuse me. I'm still trying to figure out sometimes what they currently are. But I do not mean any disrespect. But it was hard for me because I looked at all these other people and I wasn't them. And I had an afro. Like, I'm not talking, a loose curl afro. I'm talking full.
Dandelion and going to seed afro.
That is the greatest way to describe it, my friend. Thank you. I've been looking for years to describe it.
Yes, I remember my hair in grade 6, 7, 8 was pretty much that too.
And I kept trying to dream myself as somebody else. And I never achieved any success in life until I realized that it was okay to be who I was created to be. And that I didn't have to be somebody else to be successful. In fact, every time I tried to be somebody else, I failed miserably.
One of the things that occurred to me when you were just saying that was the thing that made everything a little easier was when I finally stopped telling myself the lie, life would be easier if only I had X.
Or if I was X.
Yeah, or if I was X. If only my hair were blonde. If only I lost 30 pounds. If only I was somehow different because I am not good enough the way I am.
If only I wasn't so tall. I don't think that matters as much now, but back in high school, you and I had times.
In high school, didn't it?
You and had times standing at dances thinking, I just wish I was a little shorter so guys would want to dance with me. Because, when you're a head taller than just about every other guy out there, it's kind of hard to get people to find to dance with.
Except for the kind of creepy guys who are short enough that they can just sort of lay their head on your chest. And my mother used to warn me about those guys. Tall girl problems, number 39. This is going to be one of those, this is going to be a clip from the best of.
Oh. So
Yeah.
the point is, it's okay to be you. And it's okay to reflect that in your marketing. It's okay to reflect your uniqueness. In fact, you want to. You want to stand out. And that's what your marketing does, is it causes you to be unique and stand out. And you want that because, you know, when you look the same as everybody else who does what you do, you're just a drop of water in the ocean of oneness. And I didn't get a chance to tell Juanita this yet, so we'll do it on the podcast. But I was going back through and just working on the Author to Authority book this week. And I was at the section where I talked about the air of, the ocean of oneness. And I had another term to describe kind of, you know, where you are when you're authority. And I looked at it, I thought, I don't like that. But now you get to have that air of authority. How do you like that, Juanita?
From the ocean of obscurity to the air of authority.
Yes.
Nice. I like it.
Yes. So, you know, I was like, ooh, that's Juanita's gonna like that. It's kind of delicious.
I do. Yeah.
A little highfalutin in there, and
a little juicy language.
Ooh.
Make your writing juicy. Do you see what I did there? One of the things that is part of your marketing is your language.
Yes.
And it might seem, what I'm about to say next might seem like I'm just flipping the whole be authentic, be you. Your language needs to be on in the theater sense. Not, hello, my honey, hello, my baby, hello.
Right time, gal.
Exactly. I love the little frog with the top hat and cane. His name is Michigan J. Frog, should you ever be asked that. This is how I win trivia contests. The sense of being forward and engaged with your conversation. Mm-hmm. You are thinking about what you want to say to someone. You are listening actively to what they want to say and thinking about how you're connecting with them. That is different than, say, being, as I was saying, being phony. It's still being authentic.
Yes.
But it's making the effort, like with my daughter at 6 o'clock in the morning, Mommy, I want to come and snuggle with you, or Mommy, will you read me a story? And I can go, yeah, okay. Like, what a royal pain you are asking me all the time to do stuff. Or I can go, sure, come on, let's do this together. And sure, I'm fighting the desire to be asleep, but later I want to know that her experience of me was someone who was glad to be in her presence. I think that's what you need to communicate with all of your clients. Yeah. And with all of your relationships, is that you feel glad that you are in their presence.
Yes. But, you know, the other side of that is true as well. And that's when you become a real authority, is when you can honestly say, you know, JD, normally I would love to read you a story this morning, but Mommy's not feeling that great. You know, there's that other side of it too, because there's some days when you are just not doing good. You know, last week, I had a friend die suddenly. And I had to postpone some things. I was going to record some podcast episodes. I just couldn't do it because, you know, when I record these, I want to be upbeat. I want to be positive. And to be honest, my heart was just breaking. So could I have faked it? Yeah. Juanita and I have performance backgrounds. We can fake it when we need to. But I wanted to be authentic and genuine. So I contacted the people. I said, listen, I just found out a friend of mine just passed away suddenly. Can we move it for a couple of days? And they were okay with that because I was being honest with them. Mm-hmm. And then when we recorded it, it was good because I was in a better place personally. So, being the authority doesn't mean you always have to be on in that sense, because we all have bad days and bad things that happen. But it's, you don't want to generally be down, depressed. You want to have that confidence and ability to be yourself.
Yes, I think that once you've established a relationship, that's, in a way, that's showing that you're honoring the relationship, that you believe that this person can handle and can care enough about you to give you what you need in that space too. And that's being a decent human being.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I want to get down into our core message today, actually our core part of marketing, which is your messaging. And, there are lots of things that we can talk about marketing, and maybe we will do another episode on marketing as well, because there's just so much to it. But the starting place in your marketing really comes down to 3 questions. And in the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey, you might not be able to fully answer these questions. It took me about 2 years to really get the clarity I needed to answer these questions in the way that made sense to me. Now, that didn't stop me from doing business. So here's the thing. If you don't have your messaging down yet, that's okay. Sometimes it comes as your business grows. And as you experience different things, and as you work with different people, and as you kind of figure out where you fit in the world. So this is never questions that should stop you from doing business. These are questions that you search out and you work on and you gain clarity on. And as you do, your business then starts to grow faster. So the 3 questions are: who do you serve? How do you serve them? And who you are in relation to the 2 previous questions. And, when people asked me that in the beginning, I had no clue. Okay, I kind of knew who I was, sort of. And then I'd kind of go, I'd try to come up with some really pithy answer and just to impress people. And yeah, they realized I had no clue. So first of all, I'll let you talk there in a second there, Juanita. But first of all, you need to understand that we're talking about your entrepreneurial business persona. Okay. So this is, and again, it comes from an authentic place. It still has to be who you are. But when we talk about who you are, I'm not necessarily talking about, I'm a sorry about that. My microphone seems to not be working. Okay. Can you still hear me there, Juanita?
Yes, I can hear you now, Kim.
Okay. So these are the joys of running a podcast with technology. Sometimes it just does fluky things in the middle of you speaking. But if you ask me who I am, I'm a child of God. I'm a wife of almost 30 years. I'm a mother of 2 adult children. I am Nana to the most adorable 1-year-old on the face of the earth. And I'm sure every other Nana says the exact same thing, and you're absolutely right. I'm a musician. I'm an avid reader. I am a creative person. I love to knit and crochet. And all of those things are valid and true. but they are not who I am as an entrepreneur. And so when people ask me, who are you? What do I do? All those, kind of questions that you get, then that's where my marketing messaging comes in. And it's really simple. I'm the extraordinary word ninja, and I work with entrepreneurs and professionals and coaches to help them write their signature book. It's that book that they become known by, and it becomes that valuable marketing tool that they use to build their business. So, your messaging has to clearly state those three things. Who are you? Who do you serve? And how do you serve them? So I know I can see by the look on Juanita's face, she's got some things she wants to add there. So I'll let her talk for a couple of minutes.
Oh, I had so many ideas, and I don't want to sound like I wasn't listening now, because I was like, so engaged. The ideas are like boom, 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 like popcorn in my head. I think it's important to ask yourself, what does it look like when I'm in this role?
Mm.
And sometimes when you were talking before about how you won't know the answer to who am I, who do you serve? And you were saying that you still do business as you're figuring out the answer to that. Sometimes the answer is a negative. It's not who am I, it's more of a, this is not what I do. When I owned my sewing business, I often had people suggest, oh, you could do alteration on the side. That is not what I do. I tried it. I don't like it. It's a very frustrating way to interact with people, for me, was my experience.
And then you had your best friend saying, oh, you can try this, and you can try this, and you can sell fabric. Oh, you have to have a yarn shop. Like, hello.
And as well-meaning as those suggestions all were, they did not add to my vision. They did not add to my peace of mind.
Yes.
And that's a good sign that it's probably not authentic to you. If the idea brings you more stress,
yes,
then it's probably not a good fit. That seems obvious in retrospect, but so that's an important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Being the extraordinary word ninja that you are, Kim, one of the things that I'm always impressed with you doing is your speed, your lightning quick way of writing. That's something I really appreciate. I find I'm not the hiya fast writer, because I like to take a more tortoise approach and go, is this the right word that I want to use here? And one of the things where I'm learning in my role as book project manager, I had someone say, I said, hi, I'm kind of the keeper of the calendar, was what I said. Well, now I feel like saying I'm the queen of the calendar. But this man said, you are an outcome facilitator. I was like, heck yeah, I am.
I like that. Maybe we're going to have to look at maybe changing your title there, my friend.
And there's a certain value in finding a title that makes you feel elevated, that you'd go, wow. Because sometimes we want to hide behind labels.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between labels and identity. And that's what we were talking about when you were talking about your being biracial, being that, how there's a challenge, because on the one hand, we have, here's my hand. On the one hand, you have people talking about labels. Are you black? Are you white? Are you whatever? And labels are for the convenience of other people.
Mm-hmm.
Identity is something that you're building within yourself.
So
And
I'm going to interrupt you here because I've
okay.
got to say this, but Juanita and I are Canadian. And there's 1/4 of me that is Canadian as Canadian can be. It goes back to the founding family of the city of Montreal in the 1600s. I'm at least on all 4 sides, at least 3 to 4 generations Canadian. So people ask me, oh, who are you? Where are you from? Oh, I'm Canadian. No, really, where are you from? Canada.
Yeah.
And it's funny because as Canadians, people always assume we're something else.
Mm-hmm.
I want to change that. I am proudly Canadian. Now, if you want to ask me where my ancestors may have come from, I will gladly answer that question. But if you ask me, where am I from? I'm from Canada. Proud of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's again, that's identity, right? That's really a huge thing, and being able to claim an identity like outcome facilitator is something that you can feel pride in an identity.
I actually wrote that down.
All right, that's my new juicy title.
I guess we're going to have to get you some new business cards there, eh, my friend? Not that we've been going anywhere to use them, but...
yeah, maybe hold off until we get to, like, what, level 4, is it?
Yeah. So, one thing I wanted to point out through this journey, and you were correct, Juanita, is the fact that through this journey, you determine 2 things. Who you want to work with and who you don't want to work with. Mm-hmm. How do you want to serve them and how do you not want to serve them? And it's important to be able to know both. Juanita and I, over the years, have had a few clients that we realized were not congruent with who we were as a company.
Challenging.
Yeah.
But yes, not congruent is a...
And it created conflict. Mm-hmm. Because we probably really were not the right company to produce their book.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did that mean that we quit on the project or anything else? No. And you can't do that. If people have paid you to do something and, it doesn't matter how difficult they are to work with, if they have paid you, you have no right to stop working with them. You have to complete what you have done because that's what an authority does.
Integrity is part of your identity.
Exactly.
Everyone.
As an authority. So, but every time we've worked with a person who was not congruent, it's helped us to define more who it is we want to work with and where do we find those people. And it helps us to refine our onboarding process to see if this person is the right one in the first place. And so, we're probably over our 30 minutes. So I think we'll conclude and we will have another discussion on this one, my friend. So in conclusion, actually, Juanita, I will let you share any final thoughts first before I close us up.
Well, Kim, yes, this is certainly a rich vein to mine. It's packed with juicy goodness.
The word of the day. Juicy.
Yay, the word of the day is juicy. I'm sure that there are a few more. I'm going to have to look up in my...
word of the day.
Synonyms. Synonym rules, as just like grammar used to make. No. Delicious language. So I will make my notes and keep them on. But I think that let integrity be part of your identity as an authority is a nice wrapping thought for me.
So in conclusion, let's remind you the 3 questions that we want you to work on. Who are you? Who do you serve? And how do you serve them? And I think let's continue this on the next episode. We'll do a part 2 on marketing, and we'll kind of pick up there, and we'll also talk about some other elements, including how marketing and branding work together, because that's an important piece of the puzzle as well. So this has been Juanita Wootton-Radko and Kim Thompson-Pinder on the Author to Authority podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you on the very next episode. Bye now.
Bye-bye.